Heidi ho, boys and girls. Today we're out in the garage and we are going to be putting on some 2.5-inch riser extensions from CJ Motorsports. You've probably seen some of my walk around videos where I talk about the 1.5-inch riser extensions that I have on the bike. Those were from CJ Motorsports as well, but today we're going to put on 2.5-inch to give me about another 1-inch height and almost an inch pullback on the bars. These just came in from CJ Motorsports and they are really top quality. Very nice finish. You can order them in different heights depending on how much you want to change the placement of your bars. The kit from CJ Motorsports comes with the riser extensions and then the bolts to use. You'll need to use these bolts because these will be longer than the ones that you have on your bike, and some washers. So yeah, let's get to it. Nothing ever goes the way it's supposed to when you're doing an install video. Before we start breaking stuff down here, I do want to go ahead and address one thing. Every time I do a video where I'm showing the front of the bike, someone always DMs me and asks me about where I got the black caps to cover the bolts. I got these off Amazon. I'll put a link to them in the description of this video down there. There's two sizes. The larger ones you need for like these outer pieces. Smaller ones go here, and they also fit on other bolts around the bike. So if you're interested in those, check the links down in the description. Now let's get busy getting these riser extensions on. Before you do anything, make sure that you cover the tank on the bike. I've got a quilted pad and a blanket here because once we take these handlebars off, we're actually going to lay the handlebars back on the tank. So you want to make sure you don't mess anything up. Next, I want to make sure that I've got some slack in my clutch cable to make things a little easier when I pull the bars off. So to do that, we're going to come down here. We're going to take this clip off. Here we go. And we're going to pull this sheath up. And I'm going to pinch this red piece here. I got two little tips. It's going to release that tab. Then I'm going to pull this down as far as I can. A little counterintuitive, but that actually releases the tension in the cable there. Then I'm going to pull that red lock, push that red lock back in. Now we're going to remove the cover from the headlight, then we're going to take the headlight off. That will expose the bottom of the bolts that we need to get to pull the risers off. I'm using a T40 Torx to remove these two bolts. If you haven't removed the cover before, these are the only two bolts you have to remove, and then you'll pull up and out on this. There's two little tabs that this sets in. That'll come straight off. So let's do that real quick. And make sure you check to ensure that you've got both the rubber pieces come out of those little grooves. You can see this one came off this tab. So I'm going to pull that out and put that back on. And just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and throw a cover over my front fender there too. So that exposes the nasty light. Man, that's dirty. Ugh, this bike is really filthy. So what we need to do now is go ahead and take this bolt out, and then that will let us pull the light off and get it out of the way. And to do that, I'm going to use a T27 Torx. With that out, then we're going to get the other two here. Make sure you keep some pressure on the light here when you take the last bolt out, so it doesn't flip down on you. So the light is plugged in right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there is, on the bottom of that connector, there's a little lip. You pull that back to release it, and then work the connector out of the back of the light. So it's this piece right here that you're going to reach down and pull back away from the light in order to get that connector loose. And with the light out of the way, you can see the heads of the two bolts that we're going to remove in order to get this, the current setup off. And then we'll replace these risers with the new ones, use the new bolts to put back in here, and we should be good. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about cables. I've got a 2019 114 Fat Bob that comes with ABS. All the research that I've done says that if you have the ABS configuration of the bike, then you should be able to go a total of 3 inches higher with the riser extensions without having to worry about cables. I think I'm okay on everything. I do have a little bit of concern. We'll see. I think I can get another inch out of the brake cable here that's coming off the bars. If I'm going to be short, this is the one that I'm going to have to replace, but I think I'm going to be okay. The issue, the thing you have to remember is that there could be variations in manufacturing on the bikes. So just because this will fit my bike, they're 2.5 inch that we're extending here, doesn't mean that it will work on your bike, because we can't guarantee that this first piece of this brake cable is the same on every bike they manufactured. But pretty much everybody that is out on the forums and everything has said they've been able to go 3 inches on the riser extensions without any problems with any of the cables on the bikes that are configured with ABS. So let's keep our fingers crossed that that's the case today. Okay, so at this point, I've got 2 options on getting these off. Oh, look, there's Miss Percy. Hi, Miss Percy.
Hi.
Yeah, Miss Percy came to give me a hand to make sure the handlebars don't slam down on the tank. I can either remove these 2 bolts and lift the whole assembly off with the bars, and then I'm just going to pull the riser extensions off, the old ones, put the new ones on, or I can take the clamp off the top of the bars, pull the bars off, and then take these bolts out and then work with the risers. I'm going to go ahead, because when I did this the first time, it was fairly simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave the bars in the clamp, and then we're going to take the whole assembly off by removing these 2 bolts. All right, you ready, Miss Percy?
Ready.
All right. All right, so there's one. Can you push forward a little bit? Yeah, I'm still. Okay, so those 2 bolts are out. Now we're just going to lay the handlebars back on the tank. Okay, just lean them back.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Want it over the...
As far back as they'll go. Okay, shit. All right, that's fine right now. I need to figure out how I'm going to get these off. Shit. They should just...
Did these come off?
No, it's the pressure. Okay, that we had a little bit of a problem because these old risers won't come off very easily. I'm going to need to work those off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the bar clamp off and then remove the bars so that I can get these pieces off individually. And at that point, I won't need Miss Percy to help me. That's good. All right. Thank you, dear.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take the clamp off the top here, then remove the bars. So we ran into a little bit of a problem. I went ahead and took the bars out. I took the bar clamp cover off and then took the bars out and laid them here. Let me switch to the GoPro and I'll show you the problem that we had, how we overcame it, and show you a little bit about how the extensions fit on the risers. So the problem I ran into was I could not get the old extensions off the risers, and as you can see here, what holds these together, these nubs fit into these cutouts, and then the pressure when you tighten all this down actually holds that together. I couldn't get this off, so I went over to my neighbors, and what we ended up doing was spraying some liquid wrench around the crease there, and then we put a clamp on the extensions and then hooked a loop or a ratchet strap through this, a ratchet strap through the clamp, and then we finally got these to break apart. So that was the problem, but we're good now. I was hoping to resell these, but we got a couple of little marks on the risers. I don't know if you're interested in these, shoot me a note, let me know. I'll cut you a deal on them. That's one. And then I got a couple of marks on this one where the clamp was, but probably paint over those. But anyway, shoot me a note if you're interested. So now we're going to put the new ones on. And there's one thing you want to pay attention to is when you put these together, you see how that seam lines up and it's all even. If you do it the wrong way, turn the extension around the wrong way to do it, you'll see that they don't quite line up. I don't know, I'll throw a picture or something up there, but you can see how that's not seated correctly. So they only really seat correctly one way, and that's like that. So I'm going to go ahead, switch back over to the other camera, and we'll bolt these on and put everything back together. Before I forget, you need to make sure that you take the little rubber pieces out from underneath either the stock risers, they'll be like right there, right in there, or the extensions that you're taking off, and you need to put these on to the new extensions. They'll fit right in. That'll help with the vibration dampening. Should just push straight in. Nothing ever goes the way it's supposed to when you're doing an install video. There you go. So those are in. Now we can go and put this together and put it back on the bike. Okay, I have the extension block, the risers, and the bars back together. I think it looks pretty nice. Just sat on the bike, and it gave me exactly what I thought it would, about an inch higher and almost an inch, feels like, coming back. You got to remember that the way the risers set on the bikes, they come back at an angle. So if you're going up, you're going back as well. It may not be one-to-one, but it's pretty close on the Fat Bob, I think. I did not have any problems with the cable on the brake side. That looks fine. I do have one cable over here in the bundle that seems a little tight. I think it might be one of the blinker, the turn signal lights, but I didn't lift the tank. I have to wait for somebody to come over, maybe give me a hand. Maybe Volts will come over someday and give me a hand to lift the tank and pull the access out from the side. But other than that, I think everything's okay. I'm going to go for a little test ride once I get the light back on. Just remember, use Loctite when you put the bolts back on, and then we just need to reverse the process to get the headlight back on that we started the video with to take it off, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to finish putting the light back on. We're going to go for a little bit of a ride and maybe talk a little bit about how everything feels now that I've got these extension blocks on. Cool. And then the last thing we want to do is go ahead and readjust our clutch cable. So I'm going to push those two red pieces in to release that tab. It's going to pull that cable all the way up. I'm going to push the red lock tab back in place. There we go. And pull this down into place. Sometimes that's easier said than done. There we go. Then I'm just going to stick this clamp clip back around, but you don't need to see a video of that. Hot damn, baby. Woohoo. Oh man, it's cold out here. Yeah, it's like 43 degrees and I'm riding around without a fairing or anything, and whoo, it's cool. Why am I doing that? Well, because I wanted to pull over and do a little walk around and show you what the bike looks like with these risers on it without the fairing. But it's all about you. Peace. Anyway, I like the riding position. I like what it's done. You wouldn't think an inch would be a big deal. That's what she said. But yeah, it's a little more relaxed, a little more upright, I guess. And I've got a bit of a bend, as you can see, maybe. Oh, let me get through this curve. Woo! Oh, we got another curve. Sorry, guys. God, I love this Fat Bob. Is there a better bike out there in the Softail line? Hell no. Not even the Lowrider S. Yeah, you can take your Lowrider S's. Get out of here. Anyway, so yeah, as you can see, I've got a little bit of bend in my elbow. But you know, you're still in a good position to where you can, you know, lean into it and get a little more aggressive if you want. I think I'm going to be happy with this. One of the reasons that I did this, actually the main reason, is I've got some trips planned this year in 2021. One of them being pretty damn long, going almost all the way across the country. And then hopefully in March I'm going to be hooking up with some good buddies and doing the Tail of the Dragon. So I wanted to get a little bit more reach here, or reduced reach, to make those trips a little more comfortable. So I'm gonna go find a spot to pull over. We'll do a walk around and I'll show you what the bike looks like. Man, I love this Fat Bob. Hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, ooh, who was screaming? Huh. This kid must be getting beat, must have done something wrong. I'm gonna try to do this real quick because we have a little bit of a storm. Looks like it's moving in here, rain or snow or something. But here's how the bike looks with the 2.5-inch riser extensions from CJ Motorsports. I think that actually looks pretty good. So a couple things that I want to make sure that I point out, and you definitely need to take this into consideration. I don't think I could have gone 3 inches on these extensions like people say. My brake cable here still has a little play, but I think it's supposed to have a little bit more in there. I don't think I could have gone much higher. 3 inches would have been another 1/2 inch, and I think that would have been too much torque down here on that. So I would definitely take that into consideration. The other thing is on this side, I don't know if you can see this, the wires are pretty tight. I've got one wire that's a little tighter than I would like. I think it's a turn signal light. I did not lift the tank to get back in here and pull all the excess out, but I did manage to get some excess on that one wire that was really bothering me out, and I think we're okay. But again, I don't think I could have gone 3 inches and without having, lifting the tank. And then this is, I don't know if you've ever done it before, but this is a real pain in the ass to get back behind this piece and then pull excess wire out and get all that back together. So there you have it. I'm happy with them. I like the riding position. I'm going to go back to the house and throw the fairing on, and we'll take a couple of photos with and without the fairing so that you can see a comparison of how that looks. It's cold. I'm out in the cold because I like you guys. I'll put a link down below to CJ Motorsports, and you can go check these risers out there. Tell them Percy sent you. They won't give you anything for it, but just tell them Percy sent you. Take care, guys. Peace.